Well, whenever we write for a band record, regardless of if I write the songs myself or collaborate with Richie, they become a collaboration because the band's indelible stamp. After 14 years of having the same guys playing in a band, you know that we have a certain sound. And when we collaborate on a song, Richie and I, it becomes not my voice or his voice, but our voice. And with a solo record, it's, just your opinions and the way you're feeling. Well, it's not, every compromise that we have within the band we're both happy with, but, it stands for what the band is about. And with this, it was a little more of an introspective record. I was living in London. I was doing a movie there. I was truly on my own, a foreign man in a foreign land. And I knew I was going somewhere with destination anywhere. It was really apropos. I knew I was going to experiment. I knew I was going into something new, and I didn't know what that was. Initially when I first bought a blank notebook and started writing, I was thinking more along the lines of a very organic sounding record, perhaps in the vein of a Delamitri kind of sound. And as I started to write the songs, I was influenced more and more by British pop and the music papers and the things I was seeing on the MTV, and they all did play a part in that. And when I met up with Steve Lironi, who produced a Black Grape record, or Space, he actually introduced me to a new style of recording, and this being my ninth album, to tell you the truth, there wasn't any surprises that I imagined, but I was truly surprised. It was a whole new way of making records. But I did use, yeah, I see. My initial reaction was, I'm going to do two tracks with five different producers, and I did two with Lironi. I did one with Dave Stewart, and then I went to David Foster just to try it. Recorded something, sounded great, wasn't right, got rid of it. Went to Bruce Fairburn, who recorded Slippery When Wet in New Jersey. Same routine, sounded great, sounded like the next Bon Jovi record. Wasn't right, got rid of it. And found myself gravitating back to Lironi and back to Stewart. So I tried five producers. It just happened that I kept going back to the ones on the record. Several of the songs were recorded with several producers, and even some that I did with Dave Stewart, Lironi did again, or vice versa. And it was just the idea that once I grasped where Lironi took Janie, Don't Take Your Love to Town and Learning How to Fall, I thought, you know what, I'm creating something brand new here, something new for me, something a record that didn't sound like anything. And with that, that was now the standard. And Midnight in Chelsea being the third track I recorded, I said, now everything's got to live up to these three. I did. What happens when you're in a movie set is there's a lot of downtime. A lot of time you spend between setups, and instead of sitting in a trailer doing nothing, I was writing. Well, Midnight in Chelsea is a happy song. It's an upbeat, excitable young man in a foreign land, writing about the things he saw around him, and able to admit a lot of humility, I guess, on this record with songs like "Learning How to Fall" or admitting things like "No one's looking for a savior; they're too busy saving me" in Midnight in Chelsea. As I left London, the writing process continued, and on the road did things like Every Word Was a Piece of My Heart while we were in Vienna, and things were going great. The tour was huge, the band was happy, but I started to feel like I knew how to rely on the old tricks. I knew when to pull "You Give Love a Bad Name" for an audience reaction. I knew when "Living on a Prayer" was going to work, and I started to feel like, man, it's one step up, two steps back. I knew it was time to write something new and say new things and not cater them to the grandiose. I mean, if anything, this record's geared more to the theater than the stadium. Well, I'd like to think that we don't. I keep pushing the medium, especially with a record like this. But well, I would have much rather been playing These Days or you know, This Ain't a Love Song. I knew, you know, when to pull Bad Medicine, you know, and you know, to me, writing Destination Anywhere was a way of admitting that, you know, that I didn't want to get comfortable. I didn't want to, you know, be just that guy. I wanted to change it up. Steve Lironi was the catalyst, and then Dave just augmented it. When you have a band, you know, getting back to that, when you're playing with a guitar player like Richie Sambora, I don't play the guitar on the records, on the Bon Jovi records. And, you know, if I do, it's very, very little. And the truth is that Richie's such a phenomenal player, you don't really get in the way of that. It'd be, you know, if you're in Van Halen, you don't pick up the guitar and play, you know. You know, you write the songs with it, you collaborate with it, but then, you know, you leave it up to him in the studio. With this record, I decided to play a hell of a lot more, you know, most of it. And in doing so, created something different. You know what? I was in the trailer on this new movie we're doing here in America right now, and I was thinking to myself, well, it's not too late to write another song. So you never think it's done until it's in the stores. You know, you always can go back and write another track, but it comes a time when you have to say, okay, let go already. You move on. No, and it's multifold. I mean, we've just done two big tours in the last 2 summers, and I think that's one reason why I'd prefer not to go out this year. And the other one, and the big reason is that to go on a full-fledged tour without the guys would be very foreign to me. You know, I think I'll play maybe 10 shows. You know, maybe. I don't really have any desire to go out without the guys right now. You know, like I say, I'll probably go out for 10 shows or something, 20 shows worldwide over the course of the album. But no, you know, I've written them, I've recorded them. You know, I've played with some friends of mine working the songs up, and you know, it's a little weird for me after 14 years of looking to my right and seeing Richie or behind me to see Tico to not have that. And there's just a certain magic when you play with a band, and a band that's been your band for so many years and so many battles that have been won. Um, it sort of feels like, I don't know, cheating on your wife or something. It's a goofy thing, you know. Oh, definitely. Yeah, Dave's bohemian approach to record making is very exciting. You know, when we go in as a band, it's really pretty regimented. It's not that it's not fun, but we know exactly what we're there for. We go in there with the songs written. We record them, the basic tracks in the first 2 weeks, you know, and then you move on to overdubs because typically a tour is booked. With this, literally anyone who'd walk in, Dave would say to his babysitter, "Go in there and sing." She never sang a note in her life, but she, you know, it's John Bon Jovi's record. I think I'll try it. You know, she goes in and sings a note, and she did great. We sampled it, threw it around. Same kind of thing, you know. If whoever would come in the studio would pick up a tambourine or a hand clap or something, and it made the whole approach just a lot more at ease. And you know, it was the idea that if it didn't work, you throw it out. No big deal. It's going. It's going. You know, I mean, we're like I said, we're working on a film here right now in New York with Eddie Burns, the guy who wrote and directed "She's the One" and the Brothers McMullen, and so we're working on that currently. And I have two other things in the pipeline that are coming out. The Leading Man will finally be out in the UK at the end of the summer, and you know, so the film stuff is going well, and I'm ecstatic with the record. I'm really excited about the response that the record's getting, and so things couldn't be better right now. Yeah, I got tired of the medium of videos and wanted to create again something new and just experiment. So we came up with what is an hour television program based on the themes of the record. And I've got Demi Moore and Whoopi Goldberg, Kevin Bacon, Annabella Sciorra, and we made a movie.